Hello, today is the 26th of July, and this week's English report is a bit of a closing one, since I was only able to record it on Friday. So, nevertheless, let's discuss the uh, maybe it's fair to say results of this week because it's unlikely that everything is going to change drastically today. Mm, the most important thing is that we're still seeing power in broad market participation. After the initial spike among the number of stocks which are trending above their 50-day moving average, we see that it is more or less sustained. It's flagging right now, and it's totally fine. That means that the stocks, the individual names, are most likely consolidating their initial moves, and since this number more or less persists, I mean, being higher than 60 maybe, and lower than 75, that means that it wasn't just an emotional jolt. That means that the institutional money, are changing their destinations from mega cap to small cap and mid cap. And this is very good news, because that means that the character of this market is finally changing from being from being ruled by a handful of names to maybe a full-fledged rally. So, and at the same time, another good thing now is a change in sentiment. New numbers are in, and we finally see that the number of bullish advisors is falling. Of course, it still has some room to go. Ideally, this little shake will result in a bit of panic, and this will help to finally clear the market of the dumb money, so called, and we will be able to see what the smart money are doing right now. Let's take a look at the market. Well, the volatility is already open, so you can see that it is near these highs, and it's facing some resistance here. Most likely, I personally think that it's the peak. If it will consolidate here and move higher, this could be something more serious, and it could postpone this rally, and maybe something fundamentally bad happens, like another assassination attempt. But as of now, I perceive this situation as a peak of this correction, and if this idea is right, the next week is going to be potentially more fruitful in terms of actual setups. Let's take a look at the indices. Dow is quite weak, but we see that it is gapping up today. Long story short, everything is still messed up. QQQ is very weak. Right now it's below this long-term trend line, this ancient trend line, and we can see that volume is increasingly high. So these are tectonic changes right before our eyes. What else? SPY is weak too, so quite weak, I should say. And at the same time, IWM and MDY are quite strong, very strong, and ready to maybe build some patterns over here and move to the upside. Also, yield is quite weak, which is good for equities too. So I'll tell you right away, I don't have anything, and I don't want to show you anything right now at the level of individual stocks. But this configuration could be quite fruitful in the coming weeks, as I've said, unless it resolves to something more ominous, maybe driven by some, so to speak, unforeseen events. The only thing that is powerful right now and even potentially tradable, or at least was, is BTC. Also, here you can see how it outperforms ETH and most of altcoins. There are rumors that BTC is about to be considered as another reserve asset for the states. So just for this situation, I think it's it could be quite right to keep some buy stop orders here. Of course, not a recommendation, my own consideration. So, but at the same time, I think you should trust the price as always, because it's elections, and in elections you have to make promises, and the more promises you give, the more likely you are to be elected. So I think everything, this flirting with the decentralization fans, with this BTC community and crypto overall, should be perceived with a grain of salt. But the facts are the facts, and right now BTC is one of the strong names in this market. Maybe a bit weaker in terms of relative price performance than MDY and IWM, because they are higher, but nevertheless quite strong. And of course, let's take a look at these former market darlings. Nvidia weak, Microsoft even weaker, Google a disaster. What else? This one I didn't watch. Yeah, week 2, and Netflix is weak. Basically, lots of names, the former market darlings, the mega caps, are in a huge sell-off, and as I've said, it's quite good. So let's see what the next week shows us. And for me personally, it's absolutely okay to take a break for the rest of the day for this Friday, and we'll see what the next week has to offer. Let's be in touch.